Hey guys, this is Ice Dragon here. I'm back again with more War Thunder Ground Sim for you. Today I'd like to take a look at some urban fighting in the Panzer III. Last time it was a match where I was fighting out in the open fields, but today we're going to focus more on the urban fighting. So I'm starting out and heading off to the west side of the map to intercept any flanking maneuvers by the Allied forces, and the typical game plan for them, I've noticed, is flanking off to the west. That way they can secure the center of the map and push onto our flanks, on our sides, and take out the people they're capturing or people who are defending. Now I'm actually in position as to where I might expect the enemy contacts to appear. I'm behind the rubble, and what I notice here is there are some enemy tank destroyers moving up towards the city square, and I want to intercept them, so I circle around on the right side of the rubble, and I find myself in a position to get a nice ambush on this M10 at the intersection ahead. So now I'm in perfect position to shoot this guy in the side. I hit him in the engine and completely destroy it. I follow up with 2 more shots to destroy this tank. The second one actually misses, and the third one goes into his fighting compartment, killing his entire crew. Next, I move on to the back of that building because I did notice there was an M18 that was pushing up, and lo and behold, it looks like we have a Panzer IV that's taking enemy fire up ahead by that M18 Hellcat. What I need to do is I need to intervene as quickly as possible, so what I attempt to do is I try to shoot a shell into the back of the turret of the Hellcat. I managed to kill his gunner and buy some time for the Panzer IV, and he actually does succeed at killing him. I move around the left to double check and make sure, and looks like we're all set here. Now that I've secured the courtyard here and backed up the Panzer IV and saved his life, I feel pretty confident that this area is secure. I do look around for a bit to make sure that I'm not speaking too far ahead of myself. So after a few seconds, I take it upon myself to start moving down to the eastern side of the map and circle around onto the city square. And while I'm doing this, I'm actually looking around, being observant, but I do end up getting bombed by an aircraft, but I get lucky. I don't actually get blown up in this situation. He just misses me by 50 meters. He was way off, and I was very lucky for that. So I circle around and go into the city square and hope to encounter any enemy hostiles in the square, but it doesn't look like that's the case. I notice in the bottom right corner of my screen our base is being captured, so I need to act quickly. This is where I start heading back to the capture zone, and I do realize I need to defend. If we're losing the capture zone, nobody's defending, and it means it's up to me to go back to it. So I start heading back towards the east, checking my sides, my flanks, my left, right, center. And fortunately for me, I don't see anything while I'm pushing up there. I do slow down briefly and take a look off to my left because I did notice some gunfire. I see a T-34, but there's a Panzer IV passing by him, so I know that the tank has actually been taken out. I look to my right, still nothing. Dead center, still nothing. Just keep repeating this until I get to the capture zone, but just before I get to the capture zone, I encounter a locust. I fire a shell and almost track him. If I aimed a little higher, it would have tracked him. Second shell misses, and the third shell hits him dead center mass and kills his entire crew. So I continue to push on to the point. I need to get there as quickly as possible. I need to reset it. That's all that I care about right now. But in the process, I end up getting shot in the back. This has me nervous because I didn't see where that shell came from. I see that there's a T-34 in my front, so I brake to my left and charge into the rubble. That was the only safe move I could have done. And this allowed me to get a really lucky flank. I turn onto the right and I encounter two T-34s that are completely unaware of my presence. I fire one shell into the cheek of a T-34, and then one more to another T-34. Disable his gunner and his loader. I fire my last shot and hit him in the cheek and destroy him. So I got a double flank by performing an escape maneuver. Not often that you get to do that. I looked behind me and I didn't see anything, and I'm just trying to advance onto the point and take anyone out I possibly can, because I know this place is crawling with enemies. I don't get far though, however, before I get shot in the back of the turret by a T-34 STZ. And if you recall, I looked back there. There was nothing there. Sometimes this stuff happens to you. You can't really determine whether or not it's going to be you or not. It's just the chaos of war, I guess. So after that whole ordeal, we're on round 2. Fortunately, medium tanks and their second spawns allow you to come right back and take revenge on those who you deem worthy of vengeance. So here we go. Boom, revenge. That was easy. So investigating both my left and right sides to make sure he's not the only one near the spawn. So I push out into that street that I got flanked on. I noticed that Panzer III is still in that location, and he's actually distracting a T-34E from being able to even notice me. So I fired a shell right into his cannon barrel and just broke to the right, back into the alleys. I proceed slowly, and I check to my left, and lo and behold, another T-34, actually 2 of them. So I managed to disable that guy's gun. I didn't manage to finish off that T-34, but I'm going to keep moving in and pressing aggressively. I fired a shell right into this guy's transmission. He's not able to move. I fired a shell right at the back of his turret, or side of his turret, and eliminate the last of his crew. I peek around the right side to counter the guy that I let go, and it looks like he's there. I send a shell into his gunner and into his tracks to prevent him from escaping. Unfortunately, now I overcommit and I encounter the wave of Stalin right in front of me. It was at this moment I knew I fucked up. In retrospect, I could have actually gone about this a little bit differently. After engaging that T-34 on the right, I could have gone around back to the left and started opening fire, but I didn't know that he was backed up by so many T-34s. I mean, fog of war gets you when you least expect it. So what can we take back from this defeat? A few things we can do when we're outnumbered. We can always disable the modules in the tank. Destroying a cannon breech is going to buy you more time to fire a second shot into one of his allies. When fighting multiple targets, you want to disable as many as you can before you go for your killing shots. That way you ensure that the enemy cannot retaliate once you open fire. Do not commit to an open crossing unless you are absolutely sure that the opening is clear, but then even then you have chances that you're going to get caught in a crossfire. It just lowers your risk of being ambushed. So that's the end of this replay. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe to my channel and check out my Twitch channel. It's listed at the bottom, and I try to stream daily if possible. And I do have a few more videos pending edits, so I need to tend to them before I actually upload them. So that'll take a little bit of time. So until next time, take care, guys.